significant is it that Chuck Schumer was brought to this moment?
It definitely felt like he had reached a breaking point with Israel and with Netanyahu in particular. And as we said at the start of the show, he is the highest ranking elected official in the U.S. government. So that just really underscores this. And then at the same time that this was playing out, the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Herzog, was actually having lunch with Republicans who were on a retreat in West Virginia. So it just really brought to the forefront where the two parties are in the ongoing Israeli-Gaza conflict. And Democrats have trended more and more critical of Israel, while Republicans have, by and large, stood by Netanyahu.
And, of course, in the Senate already, they have passed a bill that would provide funding not just to Israel, but Ukraine and Taiwan as well, whereas the House, it's unclear if that's ever going to pass in that chamber. What did pass in the House, though, just yesterday was the TikTok bill. Yes. Divest or ban, to sum it up. Huge bipartisan margin got that across the finish line in the House. What's going to happen in the Senate, though? Do we have any real idea of how this is going to go at this point?
So what we're hearing today is that they're going to go through regular order in the Senate, which means it goes to committee where it is open to amendment. There are concerns about the time frame, for instance, of the divestiture. Should ByteDance decide to divest itself of TikTok? I think it's a 6-month time frame in the House bill. And even supporters in the Senate are saying that's too short of a time window. And they want to open it up to other amendments as well. Then it could be amended again on the floor. Now, the Senate is coming up on a 2-week recess. And then we really get into the throes of the election season, where policymaking essentially grounds to a halt in Washington, and lawmakers are eager to be back home campaigning. So making it go through this committee process could essentially just stop it for the year, in which case it would need to be started all over again in a new Congress in January.
All right, Bloomberg's Megan Scully, thank you so much. Of course, another key story we are following today relates to former President Donald Trump. His first criminal trial may not begin on March 25th as planned, after lawyers for the Manhattan District Attorney and former President Trump told a judge they'd received tens of thousands of new pages of evidence from government prosecutors. DA Alvin Bragg's office said Thursday that some 31,000 pages of records were turned over to their office on Wednesday, adding they would not object to a 30-day delay in the start of Trump's hush money trial. Trump, meanwhile, has asked the judge presiding over the case for a 90-day delay. Elsewhere, fresh data on inflation and unemployment filings giving the Fed more reasons to hold off on cutting interest rates. So how should we be reading this economic data we got this morning? Joining us now for more is Bloomberg's Enda Curran. So, Enda, you have inflation hot, you have a labor market still hanging in there, and you have a Fed meeting come Wednesday. How much more complicated do these figures make the job of Jerome Powell and the rest of the FOMC?
It's getting complicated. Today we had producer prices coming in at a 6-month high, plus 1.6%, due to food and fuel costs. And that means if wholesale prices are still staying pretty high, the concern is that downstream consumer prices will remain pretty high. And we did have inflation data only a few days ago, also reaffirming that prices that we're paying for goods like airline tickets and car insurance are still high. And as you say, the net takeaway is inflation is not necessarily playing the script at the moment. We're in March now. It was expected to be slower than it is. We do have the Fed meeting next week, and by all accounts, most people are saying the takeaway will be cuts are still on the horizon, but those cuts might now take longer to come through than initially thought.
Yeah, maybe we'll be pushing those even further back into this election year. Speaking of the fact that this being an election year and economic considerations factoring into this, President Biden, within the last 24 hours, has put out a statement opposing the U.S. Steel deal, this more than $14 billion deal that would see it taken over by Nippon, a Japanese company, essentially saying it needs to stay in U.S. hands and that he has the backs of U.S. steel workers. Is concern around this deal really about national security, hence the CFIUS review, or is it about economics and politics more than anything else?
Yeah, I think politics is the main factor at play here. If you leave aside the merits of the deal one way or another, this is about an iconic U.S. company. It's about steel. It's about the U.S. administration trying to promote the revival of manufacturing. It's in a key swing state. It's the president's state. I mean, there's a lot of political points stacking up here. And I think observers looking at this are kind of putting the economics to one side and saying, well, this deal came in the middle of a hot election political year, and that's probably what's going on. But to your point, we still have the official review, the Treasury review of foreign investment. That's still going on. We don't know what decision they will come to, but it's a pretty unusual intervention by the President. It probably puts a fair shadow over this deal, and I think a lot of people are saying politics is the bigger factor here than economics.